Hello and welcome everybody back to the Dumbass class with me, the Dyslexic Gamer, and my team of players as we play some more Dark Heresy, first and second edition mixed. This is Inquisitorial Profiteers, Chapter 1. The date, just so the players know, you actually have a handout now that I will update with the date as you go. So it is Millennia 41 998 M10W1D.
What the fuck does that mean?
So that is
day one.
Yeah, month, week, day.
Oh, okay.
Of the 989th year of the 41st millennium.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Last time, our group of wannabe acolytes had been given their first mission to investigate a hive world, but, well, the priority mission was to make 250,000 thrones. On top of that was to investigate the hive and just keep an eye out for any shady characters and poke around where perhaps normal citizens would not normally poke. They had spent some time getting to know each other and spitballing ideas. They are still currently aboard the ship, the Emperor's... damn you.
The Emperor's Sanctum of Faith.
That's the one, the Emperor's Sanctum of Faith. It's on one of my handouts somewhere, I just don't know which one. Thank you, Waldo.
That's alright.
Or should I say...
This is the real test.
Mordecai. I will remember all your names. I'm terrible with names, just to let you all know. In real life, I'm fucking horrendous, and yet I have to remember so many now. So
You brought this on yourself.
I have, but it's good. You must challenge yourself. I'm getting better, kind of, maybe.
Yeah, I wills it.
We'll see on Fantasy Day if I get your name mixed up. Your other
Of course
character's
you
name
will.
mixed up.
That's not even a question.
I will try. So the group had spitballed some ideas, and they'd got some chow, and that's pretty much where they'd got to. So we come back to the ship, travelling through the warp, as we zoom in on a little office, I believe, where our team are sat round a table chatting.
Building our criminal empire.
Well, we don't have to be entirely criminal about it.
I'm just gonna point to Liliana. I think she disagrees.
Well, I
What
did.
do you propose then?
Well, it may not make us the full money, but it might help. We could turn to making food for people. I've always had a way with attracting animals. We could catch them and turn them into food. And
Food is always going to be a big thing in the Underhive. There's a lot of people starving. Maybe.
Lilian is gonna look at Chelsea. Oh, we could be selling food, but what do you do when someone other than ourselves comes to
We
shake you
can
down?
combine it. Make it a food service for reasonable price that the underhivers can afford. And use that to take control over a gang and start delivering the Emperor's order into Underhive. How little it may be.
Iris is going to sit up and just look at you both and, what is with you guys and gangs?
I wasn't.
Because gangs are the rulers of the Underhive.
But feeding people isn't gangs.
Yes, but when you will feed people, gangs will be attracted to you and you will need protection. And I don't believe we, and I point to everyone, will be able to protect multiple feeding posts.
That's the thing. We're a small group. We're going to be much
Against
easier. No. We're going to be much easier to maneuver and move around the place. It's much easier to strategize between us, ourselves, than holding on to a larger organization. That's how my smaller squads made it through the infestation. So
I do believe you are thinking on too grand of a scale, given our current situation.
yeah, looking for a big group of trying to take over a big gang. They're already is going to try and bring on too much for us to micromanage.
Oh no, sweetie. We don't have to go after a big booming gang. We can just take out the corner gang that is selling drugs to children. We take them out. We open up your soup shop. We protect you while the other gangs are coming. There will be other people there trying to sell their wares. We make sure they pay us for protection. And as soon as we have enough money, we get ourselves a tiny corner room somewhere. And we get our good engineer here. Sorry, tech priest here, Jenny. To start working on the wounded. So
Hector,
criminals.
no organs to sell.
So Jenny here can start selling organs if she wants in that corner room to criminals.
And yours will be the first to be sold.
Hector starts scanning Liliana.
Liliana's gonna pat Hector's in the head and say, "There, go away, shoot." But here's the thing: if we make sure to protect Jenny while she's working on people, we could make a very good backdoor shop,
Of course,
and that's criminal. We don't have to be 100% criminal. We can go legit at some point, but we will have to be criminal at some point.
Darius is slightly confused.
Also remember, we will enter this city as nobodies. It's very hard to start to push it and make that much bang if you are a nobody.
It's hard to make bank in an underhive anyway.
We only need 250,000 drones, so if we manage to get one drone of 250,000 people in 6 months, so and in 180 days.
How many of us are there?
6? 5?
That's
5 of us.
Sweetheart, you do realize some of these people will never see a gold throne in their entire lives so long as they're in the underhive, right? They get bonds, food bonds usually.
Script. Yes, you're quite correct.
So you see, sweetie.
It's almost like communism.
Not like.
We have to. We're not gonna be making the moolah as soon as we start, but if we make enough moolah to go up a level in this underhive and establish ourselves in an upper level of the hive, then we'll be making more money. And for that, we'll need goons. We'll also need reputation. If Jenny here can become a very good doctor in the underhive, what do you think that will do to us? She'll be practically a golden goose.
I'm sure we could put some gold paint on her just to make it that more convincing.
She just in techno languages of Messiah. How have I sinned against you? Why?
She is even praying to the Messiah for guidance.
I'm just gonna throw a fork at her at this point.
I dodge under the table.
Leon's probably just gonna try to duck and let the fork fly over. I know, Jenny, I know, don't worry. But again, what good is there for you to be selling red meat if some other goons are just gonna come over and take all your money?
Well, that's not going to work too well because we're all in this as a group. So I doubt we're going to be leaving them behind to make money themselves, like the Inquisitor said. So it's going to be assumed that some of us are going to be acting as protection.
More precisely.
I wasn't saying we wouldn't protect our enterprises. I was just saying that mine wasn't necessarily criminal to begin with.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yes, I'm sure there's enough skill between us to do what needs to be done.
Think about it. Even if we find a convoy with guns, and we have to, jump on it and steal their shit and kill everybody that is in the convoy to grab those guns to sell them later, we will need more goons, because we will need meat shields.
Yeah, well, if we start small, we'll get goons eventually, I'm sure.
Always take on unskilled laborers.
You can hire some mutants if you want.
Yeah.
So
Protection.
as the conversation goes on, would you want to go and research the planet in the Chronicalarium to get a bit more information on... Now, the Chronicalarium will only have information basically from the Adeptus Administratum. Trade information, comings and goings. It will have some world news if you want to look into that, but it will again be restricted because there are a billion worlds in the Imperium, and Cognites only have so much space.
I'd look into some of the local news. I think I hold some.
Okay, so you all have your data slates, you have your ideas and what you would like to look up. So you head off down to the Chronicalarium, where you have a map has been provided, so you know where to go. And it's all on the same floor. It's nice and easy. So it only takes you about half an hour of walking to get to the Chronicalarium. There's a few adepts in the room who are going over, inputting information and keeping to themselves. But you will need to keep conversation between you guys somewhat concealed. They are paid, they are high enough rank to know not to talk about what they hear, but still. Going, let's do some Inquisitorial investigation, will not go down well. So, if you would like to use the Cognites, you will need to roll an intelligence test. Oh, sorry, no. It's scrutiny intelligence. That's the one. And I will give you a +10, as you know the world that you're looking for. You can type in the world of Santa Fe.
Scrutiny +10?
Yes, scrutiny intelligence. If you click on the thing, you can set some of them to different.
I do
Scrutiny
not
30.
find any information about gang.
Can I roll logic instead?
You can. The information will be a little different, but yeah, you can roll logic with a +10. So
I don't
each
have
roll,
scrutiny intelligence.
You don't have. Hang on. Oh, there isn't
You
a
can't.
scrutiny intelligence, is there? That's the one everyone I always ask for. So if you roll intelligence, then as your scrutiny, if you don't have scrutiny, there's a -20. But you get a +10, so you just need to put in a -10
Oh.
intelligence.
It was just a -1. I didn't have the 0. That's a fail anyway. My target will be 21. Or 22, sorry.
So each roll is an hour. You have unlimited time. So if you want, you can say, I'm going to devote 3 hours. Can I get a plus... so each roll is a +10. Each roll is an hour. So you get a +30 to the roll for a 3-hour long stint at the Cognite. Or you can roll 3 times. You have 4 hours, I'd say, before, the day is getting late. So you can all roll 4 times, or you can, as I said, save up all of them and do 3 hours on one topic.
Can I look up the most profitable legit businesses
You can essentially,
for our...
for the world, as long as you get successes, you can ask me, and I'll, if they don't have that information, I'll let you choose something else. But Jenny, I believe... No, you missed by 2.
No, that's a fail, but I'm gonna run.
Yeah.
I found the corrupt file, and I'm hung up on the corrupt file.
You do all get 1 fate point refresh every session that we do.
Okay.
You don't get it for time spent. Like every now and then I'll give you a refresh, or you get 1 every session. So if you want to re-roll, Jenny, you can. If not...
Nah, I'm just gonna roll another one. No,
I
I
wanna-
did not corrupt a file, willing organ donor. Finally, something.
Okay, so you've got 2 degrees, so you've got 2 questions on whatever you were looking for. So what were you looking into?
First of all, the state of the Underhive, just how bad is bad? Are there anything still like on maybe gang activity or?
Using your logic and your mind to try and think about Forge Worlds, because that's what you've had the more interaction with. Logically, you can see from the numbers that this world is far, far, far worse than any Forge world you've been on for incident reports, for looking at like the Arbite's attrition, the Enforcer attrition rate and material coming onto the world that's specifically for the PDF regiments and the Enforcer regiments. It's pretty bad down there. Looking at it, because they're not going to have as much information about actually how the Underhive is doing, but you can see from equipment that's coming and going from the world that there clearly is a constant conflict going on.
Okay. And my second question would be the Mechanicus, or they maybe launching some sort of expeditions to the Underhive when they need to, I don't know, fix something down there or reclaim something, or are they just pretty much not bothering with the Underhive at all?
So the Mechanicus Enclave on world that deals primarily in just dealing with the Hive world's infrastructure. They, from what you can see of the requests to other Forge worlds for units, for Scutari, for servitors, servitor components, you would guess that this is just a maintenance, that they're not really... You don't see many Scutari ever being sent. You see lots of components being ordered for maintenance servitors, but you don't see any combat stuff. You would imagine that it's very low priority and it's just a maintenance enclave.
Okay.
But you would note that there are... so in the past few years, there has been a build-up of more tech priests being brought in to service Adeptus Munitorum equipment. So, who else would like to roll? Because so Jenny's at her cognite typing away, and you can see, or she at least knows that she's getting information. Everyone else, Jenny, as you kind of peer around, seems a little bit frustrated, and they're kind of looking at their cognites a bit like, it.
I spent 4 hours doing nothing. I find you dozer pics.
You do have fate rolls.
It was like 2 hours looking into more local news and stuff that way.
Okay, sure.
Hey, no, never mind. That was the first roll.
So close. So close. Do you know what? It's so close. I will give you one. Hang on, how many hours did you spend doing that? Or was that just a...
2.
2 hours?
2 hours.
I'll give you, because you spent 2 hours. It's so close. Sorry, Jenny.
No, it's fine.
So,
it's fine.
you pick up on one thing that comes through. Looking into the hive world as a whole, you get a bit of information that there appears to be some, like, it's a bit of propaganda. It's a bit of something that they've picked up on. That's basically they're having the planetary governess and the here's his name, the
Lord Commander of the system.
Yes, the Lord Commander are going to be doing a pick feed broadcast across the world for, you know, joint oh shit, what is it when two organizations work together? Joint cooperation.
Showing the exercises.
No, it's joint cooperation. They're showing that they're working together, that they're working together to make the world better. And you would see that they actually had to request permission from the Adeptus Administratum. Yes, Administratum, to sanction the broadcast, to say that they weren't trying to secede or do anything. You know, there's nothing dodgy behind it. We're trying to praise the God Emperor, and so you see that, but that's kind of fairly common on world. You would have heard of it. You know of it for 2 hours.
Okay. So there's just a lot of propaganda, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to spend the time trying to look into food situation and stuff like that.
Sure.
Try to see if my idea might work. And no,
Wow.
I do
Feel
not miss the
the
mark.
pain. Feel the pain.
Ouch, that hurts.
How do they say it? Get it out right now.
I don't think it's getting out. It's more.
First.
I have horrific luck with dice rolls all the time.
Looking into one thing and find the Tech Priest's secret toaster stash.
Oh god, I didn't want to see that. No.
Like you accidentally kick the cognite unit and the door opens and there's just a gerbil running around in a wheel. It's like, what the? Close it. Mechanicus Secrets, close it.
Jenny.
Sure, Ezio. What would you like to look up?
I already rolled, but can I for flavor? I don't know.
You can fate.
Find some. One fated.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, you can fate your rolls however you like. It's your fate.
Yeah. I accept this roll. It's just I found some rather interesting news and got distracted.
So I spent 1 hour, spent 2 hours, so I have 1 hour left.
Yes, you have 1 hour left. I am sorry, guys. I've got a client phoning, so talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
No problem.
That's all good.
Brothel is active.
So Jenny, why is there a gerbil in the cognite?
A what?
It's just the
Never
machine
mind.
spirit. Yeah.
He may have pocket
That is-
phoned
I'm
me.
sorry.
That is not the machine.
I'm sorry.
Why is there a small rodent inside the cognite?
So the machine spirit is a tiny little rodent?
Hector, add lungs to the organ list.
What I thought you would
Hey.
have started with the vocal cords.
It's a legitimate question. I mean, look at it. It's so cute.
It is fine. You only need one of those anyway.
To look at it, it's so cute. And you only need one of those to be the machine.
No, you only need one lung to live.
Guys,
And I am technically what to Hector.
I motion for
You're not.
the guys to come closer and say, how about instead of being the criminals, the cash criminals, harvest them for parts and sell them to the people who need it for a reasonable price?
Wait,
I am sorry, what?
wait.
Like, this is also out of character. What did you just say?
You talking about organ harvesting now?
Only from
I
criminals.
heard something more. Something.
Yes, we've got to that part of the game where organ harvesting is on the table.
It's almost as we're playing Rimworld.
Oh my days, that was quick.
First you wanted to clean up the Underhive with gangs, and now you want to organ harvest all of them.
No,
Well,
only the criminals.
I mean, it sounds like you've got a bit of a swingy mood.
You better hope you
No.
don't have the same morals as Night Haunter. Everyone's a criminal.
No, we will go after the established gangs, cut them up for parts, sell them to the people who need it.
So did someone want to do a roll?
No.
I think I did. I got distracted.
It's the GM begging.
You know, Sir Psychopathic Assassin, that actually might be a good spice for the soup shop.
Excuse me, sir, there's an eyeball in my soup. Yeah, don't worry about it.
That's for protein.
It's from a pig.
Dear God.
I refuse
Wink
to
at me.
associate with
Wow.
you, deranged individuals.
It's okay, Jenny. Just write everything down. Just note everything down. And just at the end
Oh,
of 6 months,
God.
just lower your head in shame and just pass the data slate off. I
would
wash my
like to
hands
just
of this.
Remind you that my superstition is no datum irrelevant.
I would like to
Excellent.
remind you that my superstition is, for humanity to survive, humans must die.
I'm with our tech priest on this. Information is the key here.
Alright,
Blackmail, I like it.
I want to spend my last hour on looking into what the main tides of the planet, you know, manpower or equipment or whatever they buy, sell, or
Okay.
use.
Sure. You can have a plus 30 to that because it's really easy. You're looking at the world on just what they export. It's not as difficult as actually looking into the export file to see how much they export and having to do all the numbers.
At plus 10 for this, then. Son of a bitch.
I'll give you, as a former guardsman, you do see that they have a guard recruiting outpost on the world.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's to be expected, though, because every planet, unless there's special circumstances, has to give guard. Or give men.
Yes.
Give men.
Yes, pretty much. I think it's some agri worlds get dispensation and some shrine worlds, but hive worlds, you've got enough people.
Give.
More like they got too much people.
So, after your rolls, your time spent at the Cognites, the day's getting on. It's been a busy first day. So you all head back. But as you go to leave the Cognite, the Chronicalarium, one of the petty officers, who's been stood outside the door for some time now, stops you all and informs you that your quarters have been moved. he shows you to where your quarters are, and now they are all opposite each other. You're all on the same same block, same row. So it's easier for you to communicate between each other.
What would I roll to see if she's got something nefarious in mind?
Scrutiny perception. Or is it? No, sorry, scrutiny.
Flat.
Well, no,
Scrutiny fellowship.
scrutiny fellowship. It would be flat. You could use perception to see if he's got any. If he looks shifty.
I will use perception.
I think scrutiny perception is more like detailed investigation, while reading social cues is scrutiny fellowship.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I'm just giving him the whichever one he gets the highest chance on this time.
A GM being nice? Crap.
Even with a fail, you can see that he's wearing the garb of the ship. He is definitely working on the ship, but you're not sure if he's completely honest or telling the truth. He does have shifty eyes. You don't like people with shifty eyes. They hide stuff.
Hmm.
For the rest of you, he leads you down the
When I
corridor.
reach my cabin, I take 2 hours to go check it thoroughly. Every square centimeter is checked.
Sure. It doesn't take you 2 hours. It's a tiny little room. Everything folds out of walls, and you do have a toilet, but it folds out from your writing desk. You know, the luxuries that you were given. You have got a faucet that has a water ration, much like your other rooms, but you're giving a little bit more.
These get shit while at work.
So, I'll give you the option now as a group. You have 2 weeks until you arrive at the planet. You can, if you want, combine this time and say, right, we're going to spend 3 days doing rolls for this, and this. I'll give you 2 rolls for the 3 days at a plus 60, giving you a better chance of succeeding and getting some information. Or say 5 days. 6 days, because then it's a full week. I keep forgetting level 1 characters don't have all the different skills, so you're taking minus 20s on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you could retcon it and say we have some experience.
Nah.
You know.
No.
Damn it.
What will we do?
Oh, pardon me.
So you have 6 days. 6 days will pass. So you've spent a week on the ship. You've spent that time in talking between each other in your office and at the Chronicalarium. You all have 2 rolls at plus 60 for scrutiny, perception, or logic to answer a few more questions, what you want to try and look into. Also, Liliana, you didn't roll. You're not at Cognite? How dare you?
No, Lillian actually spent her time talking to people. She's going to spend time talking to people, trying to, figure out who of these people were actually criminals before they came here, who of these people were doctors, who of these people were engineers.
The pilgrims, the people in the... You have very
The
little
pilgrims.
contact with them at the moment. Like, they see you when it's meal times, and you can have a quick chat between them, but yeah, you don't have you don't have access to where they're being held at the moment.
Okay, I thought they were just, in a common area somewhere where I could basically go to a canteen and talk.
No. So imagine, the roller coaster rides where you're suspended from the seats. The big ones where they have like multiples of those above each other. Like, this is what the citizens get. They get a seat that's suspended in the air, and that's their little space.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
This is the Imperium. They've packed them in. Imagine the seats go round on like an escalator type deal, so they can, jump off, go and get something to eat, use the toilet, get back, jump back on as it goes back round for the third time.
The
Yep.
toilet's just integrated. It just
It
drops
might be.
straight. Just drops straight onto the floor.
It's not going to be
Straight
that,
into
but
the
I guess they can leave their seats.
they have a bit of freedom to move around. I'm just going to say they do, because otherwise you guys are going to have a miserable
They're not
time.
criminals. They're
Yeah.
pilgrims, they're not criminals.
And they're citizens, they're not much far from. So,
I mean, if I couldn't do that, I guess I'll try to basically figure out where in the city. Actually, I'm gonna try to figure out how's the food supply and water supply on the Underhive. If I could. Is it scrutiny? Is that intelligence? What would that be?
I'll tell you what, I'll give you an extra roll. So you'll have 3 rolls and everyone else will have 2, but you'll get the plus 60 onto it. So if you do your roll, well, one of your rolls now with plus 60 scrutiny, but it's not, there is no scrutiny intelligence.
It's just intelligence.
So just roll,
Just roll intelligence with the scrutiny modifier.
just roll intelligence with your modifier. I just need to check, if you roll intelligence, it doesn't take 20 off, does it?
Doesn't.
It does
No.
not.
Yeah, so if you just roll your intelligence with a plus 40, and we'll do that as scrutiny intelligence.
I'm gonna fate one of my rolls.
Sure.
Because I have, I have 4 fate points.
Liana find the rodent.
4 faint point gang.
4 degrees of success. So you were looking into the, so one question, you were looking for the food supply. A lot of the food is brought in from off-world. The environment on the planet is toxic. It's not so toxic that no life can exist on the world, but not enough to feed a hive city. So a lot of food is brought on world. You would see, looking at that there is a agri-world in system, which does supply most of the food to the world of Santa Fe.
Okay. Now for same roll for.
No. You've
water
got
supply?
4 questions, so you can. That was one question. That's where the food comes from. You can ask another, because otherwise you might roll a natural 100 twice. Nuffle can be an arsehole.
So how's the water supply on the Underhive?
The water is difficult. There is a space station around the planet, well, in the planet's orbit. They do harvest any water-bearing asteroids that come into system. They do get some water from the agri-world as well, but that is strictly limited on how much they can take off. And the planet recycles as much as possible.
Oh, of course. All bear girls down there.
Somehow I can't help but imagine massive shit plants.
Kinda.
There's another thing I would like to know. Was there a water supply in this world that was lost because of the ruined part of the hive?
There is water on world, but it's very toxic. Basically, to the resources needed to purify the water, they can do it. They can, in times of siege, they can supply enough water, but it corrodes the refining plant so much that it ultimately becomes a case of, yes, it will work for survival in a siege. Everyone will need to be food rationed, water rationed rather. And there is, like, toxic rain is still a thing on world, but again, it's removing the toxins from the water. and the resources that it takes outweighing, getting an asteroid. Apparently it's cheaper.
Also, can that was 3 questions. I have one left, right?
Yep.
Can I also make a question about the debris field?
You'll need to do a different roll on that.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, I know about the food, I know about water. Trying to think something else I should
I'll
ask.
give you livestock. Meat seems to be a premium on world. Nobles seem to pay a vast amount for actual proper meats to be brought in from out of system.
That is good to know. I'll take that as a 4th question. Okay. Okay then. Do I roll scrutiny again then for the debris field?
Yeah, sure. If you'd want to do yours first, we'll do the debris field and then you've got another roll. Or if you fail this one. So a plus 40 intelligence.
Hey!
With 1 degree of success.
Wow.
As you look into the files, there's a debris field. You don't find anything else on it. That may be because of your lack of degrees of success. It may be that the information is restricted. You're not quite sure. Oh, hang on. No, it's 2 degrees of success. So you find out about the debris field. You find out that it's restricted information.
Oh.
Jenny!
What do you want, annoying child?
I'm probably older than you, my dear, but can you help me get past restricted files?
No.
But Jenny, it would be good
Would you
for
have
us.
an alternate of the group?
I don't mind telling this. We're probably in the office near the cognites, everybody, so everybody can hear
No, you're currently in the well, it depends. Actually, no. Say where you want to have your conversations, because this is in a week. So you you could have gone back and forth within a week. So you don't need to worry about talking with the adepts around.
Okay. Then I'll probably do this in the office after I realize that the files are redacted or, restricted.
And how exactly, or what exactly are those restricted files?
Well, it's just the refield restricted files. That's pretty much it. Very no information about the debris field.
Interesting.
Loot.
Yes. And also means that we don't have to go deal with the gangs.
I know what I want my last question to be. I want to know about trade vessels and how many ships there are in transit in this place.
This can one of my questions be for the week. How to set up a reclamation service?
You can. 1 second. So, as for trade vessels, there are a few. You get it in. There's probably at least 50 vessels which are subsector. They don't really enter the warp. They travel at sub-light speeds from one planet to the next planet. Maybe a little bit faster. Maybe some of the ships, the more modern ships, do micro warp jumps. But they're just supply vessels that have, a rogue trader family or families have been given lease to work for the Adeptus Administratum, transporting goods from one world to another. Rogue traders, you don't know. You'd need to spend a couple of degrees, a couple of questions to find rogue traders. You know that they come in system, but you don't know what ships. So, Albie, you can roll intelligence with plus 40, and I'll give you the number of degrees of success in questions in that specific area, in that general area.
Would I be able to convince some of the group to help me in my investigation?
I mean, everyone gets the same role. You won't get any more added on to your... Because technically I am giving you a plus 60. It's just I'm giving you the most maximum I can give a player. It's just I'm taking into consideration the minus 20 because of not having the skill.
Alright, that's fine.
But you do get 2 rolls, so even if you
I
fail...
do have scrutiny, by the way.
You do have scrutiny, so you would roll it with a plus 60.
Alright.
It's still intelligence.
Here, watch me fail with a 9% chance of failure. Ooh, I'm a smarty boy.
That's a lot of degrees.
That's 8 degrees.
Yeah.
Or
Yes, 8 degrees, because it would be 7, but you get plus 1 for passing. So 8 degrees. So you technically have 8 questions. If you ask really detailed questions, it will take more than 1. But so your first question was about setting up a reclamation. I'm gonna go with simplifying it to: are there any reclamation yards listed in the space station? There are some essentially companies that you can rent out that will go and repair your ship or go and check this asteroid. But there aren't dedicated like salvagers set up in system that you can see.
can I extend the question to how difficult would it be to set up and how legal would it be?
Okay, so I'll use 3 of your questions to try and answer this. Legally, by the Imperium, anyone can claim a vessel through the Adeptus Administratum. If it is found, you put in a claim order. If no one else has claimed it, sorry about this. Discord is having a moment.
Discord.
Hey, it came back for me.
Discord.
Oh,
Hello?
hello.
Oh,
Hello.
Hello.
There you go. Yeah,
I
Dick
lost you.
is also getting up too.
I lost you just after she said legally in the Imperium.
Yeah. So you can claim a vessel by giving in. If you find a vessel, you can claim it by sending in documents to the Adeptus Administratum. Yep, I think that's right. And as long as no one else has claimed it, you can have the vessel and work on it, and that's yours. Just grabbing a vessel is completely illegal. You can't just grab a vessel and start ripping it apart without permission, because all ships technically own to the Administratum, to the Navy, or to the Imperium. How legal is it? You can do it legally, you can do it illegally, but the punishment is death or servitorization if you're caught.
To be able to claim, do you need to have visited the vessel?
Yes. You need to physically be at the vessel and have its registration name and number.
And if you have those numbers but didn't visit the vessel, can you still register it? How many questions do I have?
I think you have
Just
3
spent
or
4.
4. Yes, so you have
Can
4.
I change my... What was my last question again?
How legal is it to claim... Well, you used like
Yeah.
3 questions in one.
I
How
asked
to set up
for...
and how to set up and how illegal it is.
Yeah. Can I extend it to? Is it easy to access named vessels?
It's not.
I mean, it's easy to access the register with all the claimed vessels.
Depending on the damage on the vessel, if it's still broadcasting its name, then you get given its name when you do an auger scan, and the computer
No.
passes up.
I'm specifically referring to them. To salvage a ship, you need to have it registered.
Yes, you need to claim it.
Yes. Is it easy to get access to the claimed list?
No, like you would. So the administratum's too big. You put in a claim form, and then they let you know if the vessel has been claimed or if it hasn't. It takes a long time.
Within like a lifetime or two, maybe they will get back to you. Like, give it like 500 years.
So it's every sector has a department that can give out the okay, but then that all goes back to Terra. And if two sectors have given the okay as a vessel's drifted through into another, that's when the problem appears. But to answer your question, it can be done, but it's not easy to look and see a register of ships. That isn't a thing. Or only the administratum would have that in one of their larger facilities.
Then again, I don't know if they're still included in the questions, but would there be many claimed ships but still out there?
No way of knowing.
No way of knowing. Okay.
No, the Imperium makes thousands of ships every year and loses thousands of ships every year. So it's...
So, damn it, I just forgot what I asked. What did I ask again?
You asked about how easy it is to see the list of ships that are unclaimed or claimed.
Would I know? No, the hospital, I don't know if this includes, so I will ask it. The ships that are claimed, it is still possible to be out there?
Sorry, can you say that again?
The ships that are claimed, it is still possible, they're still floating around in the void.
This ship wouldn't have access to that information. Yeah, that would be
It's
something...
also something I wouldn't know of with my back.
No, that's something way too vast for one person to just know, unless your backstory was that you were administratum personnel from a naval yard. You're an assassin.
I know, but yeah,
Alright.
in character I wouldn't.
What's the out of character?
Sorry, out of character?
Because I'm thinking of setting up a reclamation service that does the
Okay.
reclamation for people. So
Sorry,
they give us a contract to salvage their salvageable claims.
that's not in your... So,
I mean, that's my
You can-
thought process of potential.
you can use a couple
revenue
of...
stream.
You can use a couple of questions to look into the possibility of... And the ship really wouldn't have this information, but I can tell you that it's way out of your budget. For you to reclaim ships in space, you need to have millions invested. You know, even if you have a junker ship, you're still talking, you know, a million thrones to get it. Ships are, you know, very, very expensive in 40k. When you look at some of the gear and how expensive that is, You know, he's like, yeah, ships, hundreds, thousands, millions.
Probably millions, not to say billions.
So for you to have the equipment to salvage a ship, yeah, you're not going to be able to afford it. At least no time
Going
soon.
onto a ship and stripping bits and bobs off, like stripping a cogitator out or doing stuff like that, it's going to be a little bit more easy to do. But then again, that's a case of we need a ship to get to the ship.
Yes, and that's one of the problems that you'll face, is that renting a ship to, you know, go into orbit and back is like 350 thrones for a passenger.
Without all the proper gear, you're not likely to get your money back.
Yeah. So you spend a good amount of time Ezio going through the cognites, trying to find some way of being able to reclaim vessels and to do big ideas. I can tell you now, Ezio, that your big ideas are falling on very, very, very large sums of money to start up. Would someone
We only have
else...
2,000 only a lot more than that.
Yeah, I suddenly had the thought that what would a crew on a No, I'll drop it. My questions are...
Yeah,
Right, good.
questions are done for the... I can't give you any more information about reclaiming stuff. You've already like put me on the spot where I'm like, okay, hang on, let me think about my lore for a minute. There are companies, I'm sure there are. Who else would like to do a role on a topic that they're looking into?
I'd like to do one.
Sure.
Intelligence with the plus 60, you said?
Do you have scrutiny?
No, so it'll come out as a...
So it's just a
40.
plus 4. Yeah, just a plus 40 then.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I found the gerbil again.
That motherfucking joke.
Jenny!
It is not supposed to be inside a cogite. What
You do
kind
have
of
two
techno
rolls.
heresy is this?
So if you'd like, you can roll again, and that's your week spent trying to look up things on a busted cognate.
Turns out there is no trouble. You just ate some very bad things.
There we go. That's a little bit better. So with 6 degrees.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks like 6. 5 plus 1. Yeah. So, first would probably be sort of, I don't know, like recipes and stuff to try and make appetizing meals out of not so appetizing meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you use up 2 of your questions looking into the cognites, and you quickly realise that the administratum cognites are not really going to help you, but you do find a very poorly secure personal file that appears to be added on this. Don't tell Jenny, because this may be tech heresy in some respects, but it looks like one of the cooks has added a little recipe file to one of the cognites somewhere. And you do find some recipes for making fungus bread and for making some sort of... It's called a gleckic. You're not quite sure what the fuck a gleckic is, but the notes describe the skinning of a creature and the deboning and the wrapping the legs around the body so that the meat doesn't burn, the limbs stay
High intensity
hugging
Mechanicus
itself.
bake-off intensifies.
You can add in your notes that you have 2 recipes, one for fungus bread and one for...
Glackit.
You can write down small mammal on a stick Because basically any rodent, any
gerbil.
small, even like small lizards, you could, if you wrap their legs up and their tail and their extremities up so they don't burn, so it all cooks evenly.
Awesome. So that was 2, you said?
Yeah, because it is very specific.
Well, yeah, I figured it would be. Now I'm not sure what to spend the rest of my questions on.
More recipes.
More recipes. Do they have any information on the sort of gangs down there? Like, any information really, but I suppose mostly on the big ones that they know about.
So, you could probably see that, because keeping on the train of food in that area, if you don't mind using up your other 3, I can give you some details about food distribution and centres of eating on the world.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah.
So, not taking into account the spire, the upper hive, or the upper middle hive, the lower middle hive and the upper lower hive both seem to be kind of in the idea of malls. There are areas where there are food distribution centres in each hab block. Where basically like massive food courts for each city block sized area. But then you would also note that in these areas there are just vast, essentially like soup kitchens, where workers can go and spend their script on getting a basic meal. When you look down at the lower middle hive to the lower hive areas, you do see that foods are provided down there, but it seems to be only in these soup kitchen like areas, these manufactorum dining areas where workers can work, and for their day's work they get a meal.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's all the information I have on food that I can give you.
Thank you very much.
No
I
worries.
wasn't expecting to get so many successes, to be honest.
So, who else would like to make a roll? Miss Jenny, would you like to make one?
I will, I suppose, logic me 1 roll.
Sure, that's a plus 60 to it.
I'm pretty sure I can only fail that on a nat 100. Yep, I can only fail that on a nat 100.
So 6 questions. What would you like to? What's the area of your gaze?
Moving up a bit, maybe lower hive, because I imagine we will be operating closer to lower hive.
Sure.
Are there any active gang wars going on right now?
Okay. So if you use up all of your successes, I can tell you a little bit about the gangs. But there's not much information about them.
No, sure, I can do that.
Okay, so for 6 degrees of success, because that's technically what you're using up, you find a very obscure note in a file in the Adeptus Administratum Personnel personal claimants forms, where it appears as if a adept who was brought in some 5 years ago for a audit claimed for services provided to him by an organisation called the Poison Kiss.
Ooh. Out of character, that sounds like a Dark Eldar Cabal. If I ever heard a Dark Eldar Cabal name, that sounds like one.
Wouldn't that be like the Screaming Kiss?
Poison
The
kiss
shrieking,
too.
the shrieking snog.
Screaming rows of poison. You know, all the edge.
So
Like dildo of indulgence.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Whew.
Have to get it out of
So-
your system.
you do see a note on there that it appears as if this request was denied, as there is information that leads. There's basically the administratum replied to the request and did it on open. You know, any ship that got the information should pass it back to that scribe. No, fuck off. So you hear about the Poison Kiss doing business with the administratum. You would also hear about a gang called the Jealous Grave. And you note this down in particular because you see that cargo ships that have got material on them that have been marked down as the organisation, the Jealous Grave delivery company. I didn't really think about how they'd bring their stuff on world. Like, do you really put it under the Jealous? That's a bit of a dumb thing to. But you can see that they've signed for it. There's leads that seem to identify the Jealous Grave as a group on the world, but you don't see any official documentation denoting who they are. As you look through the, you try and find more information about them. You see transactions. There are transactions that are going on between the Ministorum. Apparently something was signed for by the Ministorum from this group. From the Adeptus Mechanicus and from the... No, that was it. Yeah, just the basically the Army and the Mechanicus have both utilised this company for its services, but you're not sure who they are or what leads back to them. Because you're Mechanicus, I'll give you that whatever the Mechanicus ordered, they paid a lot of money for it. You would see it's well within the 700,000 thrones. Or resources were made 700,000 thrones. But it was more material of the value of 700.
And they ordered that from the Jealous Grave.
Yes, that was paid to them for services rendered, but there's no information about what services. The only thing you have is that you've seen other ships bringing in cargo for this group.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, as it was 6 degrees of success, I'll give you that from the Arbites, you find a file where it mentions a lower, basically a report on the hive's social structure. How many riots have been taking place? Who seems to be starting the riots? Are they just food riots, or are these riots over faith? Are these riots over working conditions, so on and so forth? And you do see that there appear to be a large number of the Arbites call them a gang, but it's more of a general saying on the world for anyone who is a kind of scummy, doesn't work, probably does some criminal activity. So it's their word for criminal in a way, or gangster, or ganger, and that's a toxic queen.
I would be relaying this information, except I would withhold the information about Mechanicus paying a exorbitant sum to the Jealous Grave.
Cool.
Like that part I would leave out.
So, who else would like to make a roll?
Someone definitely doesn't want to make a roll.
Only Jim does.
Have I answered all your questions, or do you have more to...
Discord just keeps having a spasm. Because I know that for me and Jim, everyone sounds robot-y.
Oh.
Everyone's a little robot-y for me, but not too bad.
It comes
Everyone
and
seems
goes.
fine to me, but Albie was a bit robotic.
Yeah, everybody's popping and rolling for me.
This is why you don't corrupt files. God damn it.
Leave the freaking gerbil alone. Let it do its thing. Anyway, yeah, I'll look into some information. Probably just about the planet itself.
I am going to take the gerbil and implant it in your rectum if you don't stop.
Ooh, okay.
Don't hurt Jim the gerbil.
Oh,
So with 9 degrees of success, if you want, you can trade in multiple degrees of success for more information, like more specific information if you want.
okay.
If you want, I'll give you some examples. With 9 degrees of success, you can get some information on the debris field. You can get some information on the world itself, like you asked, but more. You can go back even further, like before the governess was placed in power. Or you can ask for specifics about one of these gangs and see if there's any information that Jenny didn't pick up.
Right. Oh shit, I don't know, no. God damn it. There's too many options. But I don't know what Darius would really think. Probably.
So I tell you what, if you give up 5 degrees of success, I'll give you information on the planet and the planetary commander and some of what went on there.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
So the planetary, the Lord Commander, Jack von Las Sebastian Roy, was placed on this world about 25 years ago. There was 10 years of the planetary governor seat being debated and being decided upon. And the Lord Commander was actually from this world. He came from this world originally, from its guard regiment.
Okay.
He was a noble, who then went his way up to Lord Commander. And he was the one who suggested that the world be started anew, that a new line for the planetary governor come in. But there was a lot of debate and a lot of finger pointing and questioning about how much the Munitorum's power should be given over. So in the end, the Administratum decided to elect governess Ella della Rosa Mentori to the position of planetary governess, but to, in a way, punish, and in a way that he came from this world. He should know what to look out for. The Lord Commander was made supervisor of the world and supervisor of the guard garrisons on the world. He has resented this decision ever since. Well, for 25 years, he's resented this decision. You'd find this in like the snippets of reports back and forth from the Lord Commanders to High Command of the Submentum Ultramar. Sorry, the Ultramar Submentum High Command.
Yeah.
And as for the planet itself, I'll give you that the planet itself doesn't appear to have ever been attacked by any xenos race, except from, you would see that in the reports of like fleet movements and PDF forces being mobilized. That about 10 years ago, the Lord Commander did mobilize the PDF forces for a skirmish of some sort, but there's no real detail on that. Just his report stating that he had a skirmish and nothing else to report. Get me off world.
All right. So that is 5 of the. Was it 9 or
9?
8?
Because you get 2 for a. You get 2 for a critical success.
Okay. Then can I use my last 4 to find out any events of note over the around 10 years ago?
The only real events of note were the skirmish. There have been a few celebrations over the years that have been broadcast, and obviously the New Year, Emperor's Day, Sanguinius Day, and you would note that it appears in all recordings of the planetary governess. All the nobles are always stood on her side. Any noble house that ever appears always seems to be stood on her side, whereas Jack normally has basically guards, officers next to him.
Okay.
As for the regiment itself on planet, I'll give you some information on that. That's actually not in the hive. They have a base. I think it's like I always struggle with distance in kilometers. It's like 35 kilometers. It's a long distance away, and they have their own training ground in a crater that the Imperium have built a dome over.
Sorry, can you repeat that real quick?
So about 35 kilometers out from the hive city, there's a crater that the Imperium have built a dome over, and that's where the Imperial Guard regiment on Weld is trained and then sent off from.
Okay. So the... Okay. Okay. Is there any details on the guard regiment? Like, it's gonna be annoying, but type and name.
The Guard regiment is named after the world of Santa Fe. So it's Santa Fe first, Santa Fe second.
Okay.
They
So
own
Santa Fe regiment.
They only have 2 inactive, so the hive world can only produce 1 regiment that's out in the Imperium fighting, and they can train up another regiment that then gets sent out once the first regiment has been annihilated.
Oh god, okay.
Or if the regiment survives until the training process is done, they can send up reinforcements to keep that regiment going. They have had on occasion a couple of regiments. I think they've had the 3rd regiment is as far as they've ever had, but then the Ultramar Segmentum got attacked by the High Fleet. Well, they've been attacked by the High Fleets a couple of times, so yeah, they only have 1 at the moment that's out in the Imperium doing shit. It's hasn't got much renowned around it. It's fought in some decent battles against the orcs because they're quite close to this. They're in this region, and they did earn some renowned fighting the Tyranids, but no guardsmen from those battles made it back. All their regiments that's engaged with High Fleet Behemoth, I think it's Behemoth, basically got wiped out.
It would be more suspicious if they didn't get wiped out.
Yeah,
Not really.
It would be
Not
worrying.
always.
It'd be worrying. Like, so how many of these are infiltrators? Let me see.
I'd have my own regiment, okay? Careful on. Shh. Okay. Alright then. I just take it they're just a standard line infantry or something then?
Yes, yeah. There's nothing actually remarkable about them, because they are. So the world does have a manufactorum for las weapons, but it's a very small. Compared to most Forge worlds, it's very small. The Mechanicus does own it. They do operate it, but the regiment still needs to order in las weapons from the rest of the Imperium to actually supply everyone with a las weapon.
Yeah, fair enough. It's going to be prioritized to the guardsmen. PDF are going to be given auto guns and crap like that.
Yes, the Hive does make
important stuff is going to guard. Basically.
Yeah, the Hive does make a lot of solid projectile weapons that just get spread out between everywhere. But las weapons are primarily for the guard, but some have ended up in black market sellers. So.
Okay. All right. Well, Darius is just going to be taking note of this in probably the data slate and just kind of configure it all around so I'll have a little, not a report, but something I can keep track of the notes.
Yep, sure.
And I will give you guys my findings and tell you what that means to a guardsman when I get back for it. I'll be back in a minute.
So did anyone else want to make a roll to look into anything?
My days were spent around.
I believe you did. Yes, I believe you've done your 3 rolls altogether. Does he succeed? Hang on. No, I think you've got another roll.
Once.
I think you've got another roll.
Same rules.
Yep, intelligence plus 40.
4 successes.
4 degrees.
Thinking. Yeah, would I have figured out, first question, where would be what kind of trade is the most profitable in the lower hive? No,
They wouldn't have that information.
they wouldn't have that.
No, not when you're looking at like profitability of each section of the Underhive. The ship just wouldn't have that. And for another thing, there's no way of me really being able to figure that out. I mean, I could tell you that the higher up you go, the more money you make, but you know.
Yeah. Back to the salvaging. How, if there's a crew out there for salvage mission, what's the general profit of them? Like, do they allow extra crews?
So, for example, you need to hire a salvaging team, which means you're hiring their ship, their personnel, their tech priests, their labourers. You're paying for their fuel, their food, their oxygen, their water. They need to get to wherever it is that you need to salvage. So let's say it's within system. So they're going to want at least 10,000 thrones to take
No. I meant it as you join their group and they pay you as an employee.
So the leader of the group who owns the ship takes 98% of the profit, and the other 2%, well, no, because the tech priests would need to be paid. So the boss who owns the ship probably takes about 60%, and then probably 30% goes to the tech priests, and then the final 10% gets divided up. Probably 5% goes towards the security teams, and then the other 5% gets split between everyone else. You're not going to make money joining a team to go off-world, and because for one, you've got to find someone who's hiring for that kind of work, and they're not really just going to hire any old, you guys are talented, but you can't tell them too much about yourselves. I would honestly... So, until you've established yourselves on world, you're not getting off the planet. I can tell you that this much, because you're not going to have the money to get off the planet. Once the rogue trader turns up, then you've got a possibility of, oh, okay, there's another piece on the chessboard that we can attempt to sway. But until then, you have no contacts on world. So,
alright. Do I have any questions, Steph?
yeah, you still got at least one.
The protection runs, no, not runs, protection jobs, are those available and do they give good money?
I can't tell you the money because that's person by person basis. Obviously, a middle hiver is not going to be able to pay as much as an upper hiver or a spire. There are protection jobs, there are mercenary contracts, there are how easy it is to start one up or to get involved in a group. I can't tell you. The ship wouldn't have that information.
Right. So to summarize, for works depends on your employer and no information on how to.
Yeah, the ship just wouldn't have that. There's no reason a pilgrim vessel would have. I mean, I'm stretching the bounds of what a pilgrim vessel's information should have, but yeah, for that's too specific. You'd have to go on world. So would there any other, would anyone else like to do a roll? Or have all your questions been kind of maybe answered?
Is there anything else we need as a group? Just look into.
I need to know where that gerbil came from and why it's in there.
I still have one rule, but I can't really think of anything that could be useful for us right now.
Gerbil recipes.
God no, they're so cute.
Sure. So if there are no more questions, you spend your time talking, going over the information. You pass the information off between you all, studying it and taking note of what you think was important. And before long, the week is up, and as you're all perhaps walking back from the cantina or nipping in to have a chat or heading back from the office, you hear a monotoned servitor voice, and then the ship shakes. Would all civilians please return to their designated seating positions? The ship will be transitioning to real space momentarily. Would all passengers and citizens please take their allocated seating areas? We'll be transitioning into real space shortly. It repeats. It only repeats a couple more times for you all, but as you return to your quarters, the petty officer who was there before, who showed you to your seats, meets you all and tells you your new orders. You are to head down into the civilian bays, and you will begin living with the civilians aboard the ship for the last week. To make yourselves known, the reason that your group has been moved, and many more civilians are being moved with you, is that the air filtration system in the civilian hangar bay Delta has failed. So they are moving everyone into the other habitation areas. You make your way begrudgingly, leaving your quarters, gathering what gear you have been given, what supplies you have, and you are led down into the civilian holding bay. As I said before, these are vast areas. I'm going to change it a little bit, so rather than just a seat, it is basically a bed, a cot that is on a revolving chain, basically, that goes round in a circle, horizontally up, very like a like a conveyor belt. You all have a tiny cot that you can live in for the next week, but you are at least all together. In this time, you get an opportunity to meet the civilians around, to get to know some of them here and there, to hear some of what they have to say. You find out within this week that most of them are just civilians. None of them are criminals. None of them are... They're all ministerial personnel who are being moved, or adeptus administratum personnel who are being moved. In most cases, you're not really sure why these citizens would be moved. It seems a little bit odd to move these citizens to a hive world that has so many, but... And after a week of cramped living conditions, you are all stressed out. As you get to know your neighbours, I will, because I jumped ahead a bit too far, the ship does violently vibrate as it transitions back into real space. However, there are no negatives. Nothing bad seems to happen. The week passes, and as I said, it's very unpleasant living conditions for that week. But before long, you have entered orbit around the world, and a monotone servitor voice begins speaking. All citizens of Habitation Block Alpha, please prepare yourselves to disembark. It repeats itself again and again. You are not in Alpha. You are in Seda. And another day passes before you are called up.
Can I take a look at what happened?
Can you take a look at what?
Can I take a look at what happened?
What happened to what?
Why they are being moved?
Because you've arrived?
It takes about a minute to move everyone from a massive hangar.
Like, you're
Sorry.
talking tens of thousands of people who need to be moved. I mean, if you want, you could just open the floodgates and... So...
Oh, I got confused there for a second.
No, that's fine. So Alpha's population are moved. Delta's population are moved as well. And the following day, Sata's population are moved. Your population. You were all given a civilian 24-hour ration. You don't have to worry, these are not the ones made out of shit. There are some. But this is from a world that can sustain civilian rations. And you make your way, following the crowd in lines, almost like ants or drones. You follow the mumbling and groaning from citizens about being locked away for 2 months, I believe it was. They are all stressed and bedraggled, stinking, unwashed, unclean masses, dragging their bewildered and beleaguered bodies along corridor after corridor, almost a maze you walk down. But after a while, 12 hours or so, you arrive at the check-in. You check in and your paperwork clears with no question. Your gear is looked aside. You make your way onto the space station, where after another 3 hours you make your way onto the shuttles. The ride down onto the planet is, well, shaky. At the end of the flight, your bones feel as if they are still shaking. It was a ride that has left your stomachs, your vision, your mind, and everything feeling as if you were in a mixer. It was uncomfortable, but finally you arrive, and through another check-in, you were on the Hive world of it's not of bollocks, it's of the Hive city of Aquafria. So you find yourselves in the middle Hive transport bays? No, sorry, lower Hive transport bays, further down. As you undock, as you depart, you have used up, so it was 12 hours, and then another 3 hours, so you've been awake for 15 hours now. You've got naps every now and then, when the queues would allow it. You're all quite tired at the moment, and you all have 2 fatigue.
2 what, sorry?
2 fatigue.
Oh, yay.
Hello?
Hello. So
Who
mark down.
dropped?
Sorry?
Did someone drop?
No.
No.
Oh. No, no.
Actually,
Xeno was AFK.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Waldo?
I forgot I muted my mic. Sorry.
Yeah, no one's dropped. So you arrive on at the departure bay. You've been awake for 17 hours now, and you all have 2 fatigue. You were led along to the
Wait, we have 2 fatigue?
Yep.
yes. You've been awake for 16 hours now in
Ugh.
horrendous conditions. You were all led through the departure area where the shuttles have docked and have emptied out their personnel. It takes you 6 hours to be guided through to the elevators. These massive freight elevators that will lead you to your next destination. You're exhausted by the time you get onto the elevators, but it appears as if the administratum has not left its citizens completely screwed. There are small cots, hammocks, and the like, where you can lay down and rest for a short time. You then travel for 6 hours down before you exit. Now, if you'd like to talk amongst yourselves for a moment, for a minute, no more, I must go and have a power pee because I'm bursting. So, I will be right back.
This side because he's bursting or because he's thirsty?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for clearing that up.
He has a Bear Grylls problem, let's say.
He has the same issue as the people in the hive do.
All of their toilets lead back into the food production system.
Oh well.
Is that like all roads lead to Rome, all toilets lead to food?
I mean, indirectly, yes.
I just took a bite of my fucking pie. God damn it.
They use waste as for manure production. They put manure
There,
on the
there.
fields.
He can chill in the fucking solitary.
I'm back.
Hey, bring water back, dude.
What the fuck?
Don't do that.
Will you behave?
What just happened?
Will
It's
you
all in
behave?
good fun, yes, you know, let him be.
I wasn't saying anything past that point.
Someone got
Let
me
him be, yes,
demonetized.
Don't worry, I'm just fooling around too. Don't worry, it wasn't serious. Jesus, relax.
I was like, is Discord just died again? What?
If I was being serious, I would make it so you can't leave the solitary on your own.
Okay, so you guys have travelled down the elevator. You were able to get some rest there. So you can remove 1 fatigue, as you do get to rest for about 6 hours. Well, actually, it's 6 hours. You can remove the fatigue. Is anyone paranoid?
So
I am.
remove 1 fatigue.
I'm antisocial.
If you're paranoid, yeah, only remove 1 fatigue, because are you really going to be able to sleep in a box full of people who are... You're probably going to be on guard.
Yeah,
I mean, who's gonna fuck with a tech priest?
The
I mean-
other is not paranoid, she's just sad because she's no longer, you know, in a ship.
I'm not paranoid, but I do have the malignancy distrustful, so that kind of makes sense. Anyway.
Mordecai's been through worse in the black ships, so he's not too fast.
Oh yeah, far, far worse.
Brag about that.
This isn't nothing.
I have to ask, are we gonna have to go down 1 more level, like somewhere over here, or are we staying in this area?
No, you're staying in this area.
Oh,
So, this is as far as the elevator is taking the citizens who were removed from, who have come from the ship. So, you have been opened up into a hab block. In this hab block, there are, good, hard-working citizens of the Imperium who just want to worship the God Emperor and do their part. There are also a lot of scum, because you are very close to the Underhive. Gang activity is rife in this kind of area. But you don't notice so much of that as you come down on the elevators. There aren't too many people that stand out to you. But as these massive freight doors open, you've had time to prepare. You've woken up, finished off the last of your rations. You now have no food. And you've got ready. The doors slide open. And you come to your second map.
We have a map. Na-na.
Look! Gangsters!
Look, prostitutes. Huzzah!
Look, drugs. I mean, what? Let's just
So-
get you demonetized nice and quick.
Yeah, it's all good.
I forgot.
If you'd like to place yourselves in the start area, how you would position yourselves to walk through a group. I imagine you're going to be walking in a group. As that's, kind of safer. Oh yeah, you're all tiny. I forgot about this. Right, so I should have gone
We're all
through
midgets.
and made everyone 4x4. So I'll have to edit everyone's sheets. I forgot to do that.
Are we supposed to be in tokens too?
That's entirely up to the player. Albie, did you not add a token to your...
Apparently, I forgot.
I need to quickly do something because I forgot.
Albie's a silhouette.
By all means, we'll. You can either
It
add
worked
it
for the
now.
assassin.
You can either add it now, or you can add it another time, and we'll swap your token around. So as the gates open, you were the last people to get out. Yes. You were the last people to get out. Everyone else kind of rushes forwards, and you will just sit back and let the cattle go forth into the pasture. As you make your way out, you look about, and you can immediately hear the sounds of lively beings. Just the sounds of people talking, laughing, shouting, crying. It's almost overwhelming to a degree as it echoes in these plasteel concrete walls around. It is darkly lit, but there is some light enough to see, and reading would strain your eyes massively. But as the first people you kind of see is, to be fair, a couple of people you think they look like gangsters. They look like they're in a gang.
Which of those guys from Norska?
Oh, you gave him a token already.
Oh yeah, Hector's got a token.
Then I just made him one because I knew.
The two men that you can see, their dress is different. They actually are wearing...
You mean the guy that looks like he's wearing a Fallout or Raider armor?
Yes. He's actually wearing... he is wearing armor, but you can see he's got robes over it. He doesn't look as suspicious. He does look massive, though. This is a huge individual who you can see he has weapons on him, but you can't see that exactly what he's carrying. As this is how you are all positioned, please don't move the red spot as well. I moved the red square as well. Damn you. So,
Delete
we'll
the
move
red
that back.
square, is fine.
Oh, did it take start as well? It did. Start has gone.
I think start is under, yeah. Under
Go
there.
over, go over there. Come here. So you make your way further down. I'll give you. Well, no. Everyone make perception tests. Oh, sorry, awareness tests. As you're making your way down, it's going to be flat unless you have something that adds to it, because there's so much for you to take in.
15.
Yeah. 17.
Can I roll Psyniscience as well, or?
Sure, if you want to roll Psyniscience, you can. So, Jenny, you would immediately notice that there is a lot of, well, actually, Darius and Jenny, Mordecai, Liliana, in fact, everyone who's passed, you can all clearly
I don't
hear.
pass.
Oh, sorry, 71
Mordecai
on
didn't pass
70.
either.
Okay. So for everyone who did pass, which is at least Jenny, definitely Liliana.
Liliana and
Yeah,
Jenny.
that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
The females of the group.
So you can hear the moans and groans of your fellow sisters coming from the room beside you. As you look in, you can see that there are a lot of men and a few women citizens who seem to be walking around, and there's a lot of women who are scantily dressed. But you do see other women in mixed with them who appear to be armed. You can see like a bulge as they move, which you think is maybe a holstered gun, or that looks like a knife perhaps. And
Is that a holster in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
you would take note that none of the women there appear to be unhappy. They're all talking, laughing, sharing a drink between each other. The atmosphere around here does seem very light-hearted. It does seem like it's more of a party atmosphere, and it doesn't feel quite as cold. But as you make your way further along, you do see that there is a very large woman in quite nice for the surrounding area, kind of a fake leather type outfit, and she seems to be wearing like a faux greatcoat of some description. It's not militarum issue, certainly, but it definitely looks similar at the very least. And you take note that you were not expecting to see someone with armor like that, especially not around here. You push further on. You would note that the guards who are watching that area, they watch you, they look at you, they judge who you are, how well or ill looking you are, how wealthy you may look, but they don't disturb you. They don't stop you, they just take interest in that you are here. You carry on walking down, and everyone give me a perception test again as you come round the corner. One of the pilgrims moving quickly out of the way. Almost...
Shite.
Oh!
Wow! 2 natural 100! Wow!
What are these?
We've had 3 natural 100s and 1 natural 1 in this session. That's nuts.
Is that the same gerbil that was on the ship?
You can re-roll if you would like.
Why is that gerbil dressed up as a pilgrim?
I kind of want to reroll that, but I also just love the idea of thinking that someone looks like the gerbil I saw.
Oh god.
I'm guessing the earlier Psyniscience rolls didn't get anything.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the Psyniscience rolls. In my head, I knew the outcome already. You don't see anything. There's nothing in the area that sets off no psychic powers have been used, and you don't get you're too far down to be able to reach the astropaths in the spire or upper hive, so...
Yeah. That's fair.
Which is also good, kind of.
Yeah, because they don't see me. Hopefully.
So, Darius, as your group is moving down, you see that Ezio and Mordecai are kind of just looking up at the scale of this place and kind of looking back, trying to see if they can see any scantily clad women, and they're not really paying attention. However, fortunately, you and Jenny both pick up on the scared look of the pilgrim as he runs by, and another pilgrim moving on as well. As you look to your left, would it be your plate? Fuck it. As you look to your left, you can see that there is a pilgrim down the corridor who is clearly in distress. He's clearly been surrounded by some ruffians and is being pushed around. You do see that there's a few of them, and they appear to be, you would definitely say they're a gang, given the fact that all of them appear to be wearing masks. They all have their faces covered, and they all give off a really malice aura. Like, you can feel like that's a sketch, like when you come to a sketchy corner of town and you look down and you see like, yeah, I probably shouldn't go down there. There is a curiosity down there though, Jenny. Darius picks up on it too, that there is a well-dressed individual who is showing his face. He appears to be talking to one of the masked individuals, who's clearly showing a large weapon. That he's carrying a large melee weapon of some sorts.
Sorry.
That's still on the... Oh no, it's gone now. Weird.
A new character has been created. The individual who is well dressed is kind of, he seems comfortable, but he doesn't seem as if this is where he really wants to be seen. He's talking with the guy who has the large weapon. You see from behind him, you can see a woman. You can just see her hand reach out, and the well-dressed individual kicks her, and she is pushed back. You hear her squeal come down. Darius and Jenny, knowing that there are guards above your position, as the squeal is heard, you do see some of the guards take note and begin looking into the situation, but they don't move much further. More conversation is heard, but sadly you don't hear what is said before a handshake and the well-dressed individual leaves. He walks off and is out of this hab block. You hear the woman sob, and you see the ganger basically yank on a chain. All of a sudden you see the woman get pulled forwards away from the wall, and there is a chain around her neck. But you see coming up from the corridor, which is out of view, that there appear to be more gangers wearing these masks en route. Far too many for your group to handle at this moment in time, so you move on, hoping to keep yourselves concealed. You take note of the individuals, the gangs, but you didn't see any insignia on them. As you come round a corner, you see another habitation block. It is peeling with people. Beds are laid out everywhere. People are complaining about toilet facilities not working and there being so few, and you can see gangers moving in, selling drugs, but you'd note that it seems to be the women. The women gangers seem to be taking control of this area. As you move further on down, out of this area, trying to find a more concealed area to do your business, to try and find where to go, getting away from where the masses just spewed in from. Everyone give me an awareness check again. This time you can all get a +10.
Nah, luck run out.
Oh!
So
Hey, I
this
finally
is-
see something that isn't a gerbil.
This seems like a lovely place.
You take one more step as a group. Before you are stopped by some individuals who appear from behind the drop-down doors. And more individuals step in from the side. They are all in the same clothes, but they are all in mismatched clothes. They are not. They're not in. They're all in dirty scraps of clothing. These are not one uniform. It's a uniform that's been mended over generations and passed down. All of their gear is worn through. Their boots, you can see holes in, and their feet are poking through. They are malnourished and thin. But they do draw weapons as their leader steps forwards, drawing his weapon. New meat, I see. New meat. Well, new meat. I'd like to welcome you to our little patch. He smiles with missing blackened teeth. And I'm afraid that you need to pay the toll. Like every good citizen should.
I would like to preface further conversation with the mention that as a member of Adeptus Mechanicus, I am capable of naming every single bone in your body while actively breaking them.
Who is
Saying
the
this in
idiot?
the most
This guy?
flat, monotone voice ever.
The idiot is just gonna say, "Oh, thank God! I was wondering when the idiots were going to show up."
Look at the metal lass.
I
she's
take up
Mechanicus.
my gun and take full aim.
You can't take full aim, Albie. You can draw your
Can
gun.
I?
Like they have their weapons drawn. So this is a stick up. If you go
Yeah.
to draw your weapons, that is your only action, that you have drawn weapons and you roll initiative. However,
I have quick draw.
Uh,
Reaction.
okay, so
I was hoping we would get the Mexican standoff.
technically, Darius, you can quick draw. Would you be able to? I would probably allow you to quick draw, and you could do a half action shot as a
Sure.
speedy quick draw fire to kick off combat. But they have all got their weapons drawn. You were walking down, just checking things out.
Yeah.
So it's up to you if you want to draw weapons and fire. If you do, everyone will have to then, after you quick shoot someone, roll initiative.
I'm sure we could talk about this rationally.
No, I have scum. I want to shoot him.
Do you actually just say that as you quick draw? I'm just gonna shoot him. Bang.
How is stealth handled in this universe?
I don't think you have anything to hide behind.
Yeah.
You're at the front too.
Oh god, I'm a close range character. I'm not meant to be at the back. No.
Wait, what happens if I...
Oh
this?
wow.
Apparently, this... Apparently, yeah, that... Sorry. Apparently, when I select my token, I can immediately roll character creation macro.
Yeah, that's happened to me earlier.
That's
Oh,
odd.
that's great. What am I looking at here?
Oh, so initiative is kind of shit. It's kind of shit initiative.
Why
am
does it
gonna
say
reroll
no
my
character
vote.
selected for me? I selected characters when I... Oh, don't do this, please. Oh no, they're all there. Okay, they're all there.
Initiative is
Oh,
agility.
it's not added yet. It's so if you click on your token, you click on the agility one, and it will roll a 1d10 plus agility.
Okay.
I don't think it's added agility to my characters, which we'll keep. I'm not too bothered about, but that is a little bit sad. So
Oh, shit.
Darius, you
I'm
Draw.
spending a fate point to reroll.
Sure.
I think you can just spend a fate point to immediately go straight to the top of the queue.
No, because he did a draw and fire.
Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, he's rerolling a shot, not the... Okay.
Oh, I got... Yeah, that's a little bit better, but no.
So as these thugs try to rob you, basically, Darius just quick draws, bang, fires, but just misses one of the individuals, one of the scum, as we go into combat. So, Liliana.
Yeah, the combat music, where's...
Yeah, sadly, this is all I've got for the audience out there. Blame Roll20.
For ruining things all the time.
Where's
They
it?
certainly did. Yeah, we'll go with Dark Future and see if that's any better. Probably won't. So,
Yeah.
Liliana, are you
Okay.
there?
I am here. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
What would you like to do?
Here's the thing. I don't know if I should just scare the living crap out of them by shooting smite at one of them, or if I should just draw a pistol and shoot one of them.
She's your character. It's your action. There are a lot of people around.
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna go for that. I'm gonna draw my saber. And let me just see how far can I move. I've moved 3. Saber with half an axe.
Cool.
I take 10 hours to reach this guy, or is this technically 2 moves?
Oh, I'm sorry. This map didn't. I may have duplicated this map accidentally. As
10 squares. I don't know how far this is.
there you go.
Okay, I can move 3, so... Seeing as I can't actually move anywhere, instead of drawing my saber, could I have drawn my saber and my splitters?
Oh, yeah, you can draw them both. You need to pick a dominant hand for which, it's sabers in a dominant.
Dominant hand. Yeah, dominant hand would be the saber.
Sure, that's fine. Mordecai.
And drawing is a half action, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'm gonna draw my saber, and I'm also going to burn one of them to a crisp, hopefully.
Okay.
Mean.
Okay. By all means, you can do that. Just keep in mind there are a lot of people in this area.
Yeah, the only reason why I didn't shoot lightning at them is because there are like 1,000 people looking at us. And
Actually, yeah, that's a
beating
good.
the living crap out of them.
That's a very good point, actually. How? What's my half move?
Probably 3 if your agility is 30.
Yeah. Can we move past each other here, or not really?
You can move through friendly units, but you cannot share spaces with them.
I can't really do much then, because everyone's in my way and I'd be sharing space with people. So I'm just gonna sit back and kind of ask cautiously, like, could you let me through, please?
Sure, so you draw your sword and then just like, Liliana, you're in the way. Ezio, it's your turn.
Ezio Auditore! Master of Assassins!
Is the dude straight ahead of me in point blank range?
Well, you need to draw your weapon. So, if you've got quick draw, it's free action. If you haven't got quick draw, then half action, draw weapon, and then no, because it's 2 meters point blank.
I draw my stat holder and shoot him.
Sure.
Short range.
Your range? Yep.
Standard setup.
Hey!
So
I hit.
you hit. He does well. No, everyone has the ability to dodge. He just doesn't have the. Yeah, he doesn't dodge. So if you'd like to roll damage, and you shot him in the chest. Oh, sorry, no, you shot him in the 14, which is the left arm,
Right
arm.
Right arm. Shot to the arm, and you're to blame.
Move a little to the left. Line for the door.
Oh, sadness. Sadness. How many degrees of success did you get? You got 3, so you can replace, because it's a 1, you can replace it. So it goes
Okay, so
up
we're going
to,
with this row, are we?
only for 1s.
Okay.
So 5, 6, 7 damage is done as you shoot him in the chest.
What's that?
He took 7. So if you roll a natural 1 on damage, you can replace the damage with your degrees of success.
Oh, okay.
Just so you don't like what happened there. He rolled, you got a 1 when you're shooting someone at point blank with a rifle. Well, that should be a bit higher. So, you shoot him. He grimaces and holds his chest, coughing up blood.
Can I shoot? Stand down.
Sure, you could shout stand down. So let me just double check what. Okay, so this is going to be laughable. Make your sheet a bit smaller. There we go. So this dude, how far away are you? Because Ezio's the one who shot him, so you're actually in half range. So excellent. He pulls out a long tube, points it in your direction.
Is he firing a pipe gun?
May as well be.
Hang on. So he gets. Hang on, I've got to go back. He gets. No, he can't aim because it's inaccurate. So he gets the range, which is short, and he gets the standard. And this is at Ezio. He hits! I didn't actually think that would work. Actually, it's 40.
Wow.
Oh, it's 40. I suppose he gets.
I would
2
like to
modifiers.
dodge.
Sure.
Single shot, and that's short range.
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. Because they genuinely have horrendous ballistic skill, but. So unfortunately, Ezio, do you wanna fate?
No, I'll take the hit.
Okay, so unfortunately you don't get out of the way as he points this tube towards you and pulls a pin that fires into the back. You hear this poof as a bullet flies out of the barrel, striking you for 9 damage in the left leg.
Holy
Crude
shit.
but effective.
That's the torso, I think. Yeah, that's the torso.
Is it?
31
No,
somebody
you
is.
Oh, no,
swap it.
sorry.
Yeah, you reverse
No,
it.
I read.
He's
92.
10 damage.
Yeah, it's left leg.
Yeah, left leg.
Fucking hell.
I wasn't expecting that to be so effective. So the leader looking at his man and like, yeah, well done. He raises his gun, and his pistol is quite a crude thing that has a clip that runs in through the side. He pulls down the trigger and full autos at the tech priest. So he can't aim. It is short range, and he gets full auto, which is Jesus minus 10.
20?
No, it's
Minus 10.
minus 10 in this. So,
I mean,
oh my God, he got a 9.
Jesus.
That's
roll a one, roll a one, roll a one, roll a one. That's
3
not a one.
degrees. 3 degrees.
That's 3 hits? 4 hits? No,
3 hits.
3 hits. 3 hits.
3 hits.
Oh.
It's he's got 24. This. 1, 2.
This is what you get for
3.
mocking the gerbil.
It's okay. It's okay. It's
I count armor for each one separately, right?
yes, you
Yes.
Okay, so that's 2 damage, no damage, and no damage.
do. Okay, and that was on the. Oh shit! No, it goes to 90. It goes to 90.
Yeah.
I was
It
thinking.
would be leg.
Wait, was I at any point hit in the head?
No.
No.
Okay.
So it goes left leg.
Left leg.
I'm looking
That's
for
right.
multiples.
Left leg.
So it goes leg, body.
So I only take damage from the first one.
Okay. Another 3 shots go pinging off down the corridor. Luckily, I don't do shooting through comrades, so the bullets just ping off. They don't follow on. Jenny, it's your turn, and also Jenny, in the future you need to roll initiative for Hector as well.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna roll it now then.
Sure.
As soon as I actually open Hector's.
Like,
sheet.
Hector, kill them! His little hands
Hector.
just poke them in the eyes.
Nice.
Visual.
So I am going to pull out the last lock. Do I have to crank it now?
Yep.
Or okay, so I'm gonna just draw it and crank it, and aiming at the direction of the guy who just had the audacity to shoot a member of the priesthood.
Sure.
I can already see Hector headbutting someone.
Hector, engage organ harvesting protocol.
By the Omnisire.
It bites into someone's face.
Darius, you are up.
Hector doesn't have a jaw.
Oh, I'm making another shot against the guy with the ripper clip.
Sure.
Half aim. Short range. Standard. No modifier. Ooh!
You hit him, and he can't even attempt to dodge.
And damage. 9.
So 9.
I rolled a 3 there.
Impacted to the 52, which is the
52.
chest.
Awesome.
So you strike him already in his wounded. Like somehow this dark guy took a shot to the chest and stayed up. The second shot though drops him. He falls to the floor with a just a dull. His gun slides along the floor. So yeah, that put him down to -1. But he's an NPC, so he dies. He lost all of his hate. He falls to the floor, dead. Hector, you're up.
Hector.
I need to install a last pistol on Hector.
You do.
Stole a melted pistol.
Even better.
Would be nice. No, for now I'm just gonna tell Hector to be on standby, so stay behind me, avoid damage. I'm not gonna use him for combat right now.
Sure.
He's
So
not ready.
he climbs up in height and kind of stays at the top corner. So the other guy, he is going to point his weapon at. Oh, let's take a shot at Liliana, because they're not exactly trained troops. These are idiots. So everyone can get some McLovin. So he gets. Actually, I might have to.
You can't actually. No, you can't actually spend fate points to go first in the initiative.
Oh, never mind.
That's a jam.
No,
Minus-
wait, counts
minus
as
10
having
from that.
I mean, you can only use it at the beginning of a fight. This counts as having rolled a 10 for initiative.
Oh,
But I don't think you
marvelous.
can do that in. I don't think you can do that in mid-fight.
So he shot me and missed.
No, he jammed. I think that's a jam.
Okay, cool. So he takes aim and points at you, and as he pulls back the pin, his weapon explodes, doing 10 damage to his arms, killing him. Killing him, actually.
Wow.
Killing
Fucking
him.
hell.
You see that a bit of the pipe that he was using for his gun has split, and the metal shard has just flown into his forehead as he just drops to the floor and passes from this world.
Make sure your piping is clear before using it as a pistol.
Receive the judgment of the machine god.
The other dude seeing this, looking at his weapon, looking at you guys, looking at his dead boss, he's gonna fuck me. He's gonna take a half move and he's gonna take a shot. As he kind of, actually, why am I doing that? I can click. Half move. He's going to shoot at. Ezio, as he screams out, "For the queens! For the queens!"
For Queens and Hive City.
I think he's actually a point blank. He is.
I think he is, yeah.
So he does only get the okay.
You know, plus 30.
Oh boy.
Ezio's already dodged this round. Apologies, Ezio. You're shot in the chest again. Oh,
Did Ezio dodge? I thought he took the blow.
oh no, good
No,
point. He took the blow. Ezio.
No, he did.
No, he did roll
I
dodge.
tried to
He
dodge.
rolled dodge and
Oh
failed.
yes, no, damn it. Good point. He didn't. Okay. So unfortunately, Ezio, you take another shot. Or fortunately, you take a piddling little 4 to the chest.
I'm now at,
Well-
half health.
Well, you remove 3. Remove 3 for your toughness, and then you've got no armor, so you
Oh.
take 1.
Yeah. Forgot to reduce the.
Did you do that on the first one? Because you should have only taken 6, so you've taken 7 in total. So, Liliana, it is your turn. 2 of them are dead. 1 of them killed himself, basically.
I can't charge the one down there, so I'm gonna go around the corner and charge this guy.
Sure.
And I'm gonna try to stab him with my saber.
Sure.
Stab.
Oh, no aim.
Why'd
Charge.
you have-
No modifier. Because I don't think there's any modifier. No, it's only balanced.
I think you get a plus 10 for charging.
Yes.
It's already added when you click the hit.
Yeah, it comes up when you're doing the roll.
So you strike him. He does get a dodge. Oh my days.
Wow.
My luck is the rats all over again. Somehow in his panic or in his resolve to fight for the gang, he sees you charge around the corner and you swing down, aiming for his head. He just launches himself backwards, almost matrixing the blow, and sadly he gets out of the way. Mordecai,
Liliana's-
you're up.
Liana before 4. As she misses, Liana looks straight into him. She's gonna smile and she's gonna say, "We're gonna be harvesting your organs."
Do you actually say that? Roll intimidation.
Okay.
Do you know what? I'll give
Doesn't it
you
get
a plus
bonus?
10. I'll give you a plus 10.
I don't have intimidate. Oh. Let's see.
Oh, for the love of God.
I'm going to use one fate point
Sure.
just because if this works, this is going to be amazing. Oh.
Close, but no cigar. If you imagine if you had rolled for your psychic powers, I would have got 2 rolls on the fun chart.
I mean, technically, you would only get 1.
Well, yeah. Mordecai, you're up.
Is there enough room for me?
You can move through friendly units. That's perfectly fine. And your charge
just
should
messing
be 8 or 9.
9.
3, 6, 9, 18, I believe.
9,
Yes.
12. I can't quite get to anyone.
I think movement's 6 times, or run is 6 times. Isn't
runs
Yeah.
ridiculously high.
Oh, is it? Okay.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, just
6 times, yeah.
run is a full move, isn't it? A full.
Yes,
Action.
full action. You could charge the individual down here. There is room as long as...
Oh, okay.
No, so that's 8. If you wanted to go to there, he's out of range. But the one that Liliana's fighting, I believe... Yeah,
Charge
that's
this guy.
8.
Yeah. So I can do that because I got 9 charge. So I could charge the same guy Liliana is.
Yes, yeah, you could gang up on that dude. So you don't get the gang up bonus whilst you're charging, but after the attack, after your next attack would. So just a normal charge, which is got plus 20 overall.
Hey.
Eee.
And he cannot dodge again. So bring down your blade.
Just roll for
On his arm? Yes.
yeah, 23
Is
should be arm.
Left arm. I think. Yeah, left arm. Fuck that guy's arm.
So with don't put that there. So with 8 damage, you cut into him, and the blade cuts deep. There's a mighty wound there, but he stays up. Just.
Why won't you die?
He is heavily wounded, but somehow he is just on his feet. Ezio, it's your turn.
I shoot the dude that shot me. The one who's still alive.
Sure, you shoot the one who's yeah, I think he is the one that shot you actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that shot you point blank.
No, that was this guy.
Yeah, no, the one who shot him first was
I hit him.
Holy crap.
you.
Don't you
Shooting which one? This one?
don't you dare to kill him. Don't you fucking dare
This
to
one.
kill him.
Why
that
have you
one's
put
in
plus
combat, so take a
50?
minus.
Why have you got plus 50?
Point blank and stuff.
blank.
In the
But
melee. That should be a
penalty
minus 10.
because yeah.
Minus 20 because we're in
Wait.
combat.
Was it 20?
No.
Oh.
He's shooting at.
Wait.
He's
Then I will
shooting
have
at this
shot
one.
And I reroll to shoot another shooting.
No.
I forgot about the melee.
Hold on a second.
Which
Who were
one
you
are
shooting at? Because I was under the impression you were shooting at the guy down here who was not in melee. Like, if you can ping next time so I know who you are aiming at. If you're shooting at the one in melee, then there's minus 20 to it. Which would mean that you would
Still hit.
just hit.
Can I shoot this guy instead?
What? No, Albie, you
Which one were you
so
shooting
you can't
at?
go back on once you've rolled the dice. You don't go back on it. So from
I
what I
should,
heard, you were shooting this guy here. So you
Yes.
shot him. There would have been a minus 20, which means your target would have been 77. You still hit, but you do need to point out and don't try and take back a person that you shot at, because that's just bad form. But you do hit him. He can't dodge. He just matrixed out of the way. Then he got smacked by a sword, and then you've kind of drawn your gun past Liliana's head and fired at him. So yeah, roll damage. Holy, haven't you done that twice now? You have. What? Man, Nuffle is not with this group today. But never mind, you do hit. You can't replace the damage because you only hit with 1 degree. So you do 5 to him. Standard human toughness, which is 30. But
Well, I didn't want to
amazingly
kill him
enough,
anyway.
as you bring your rifle down and shoot him, I believe you shoot him in the shoulder, and his body jerks, and the slicing wound that was opened up on him opens even more, and he just gurgles out as blood pulses out of him, and he is most assuredly dead.
Nice.
With only 1 left, and I believe it is his turn. He runs! He runs screaming!
Get back
Screaming!
here, you
Can I make a shot?
Opportunity attack.
So, let me have a look. You can't do an opportunity attack, but those people who have range will be able to get a shot. I just need to measure out. So it goes from there. So he's got this much. So he's got at least 12. His full run is 18. So from here, he gets to 12. And then he takes off round the corner. So you can chase him if you want, but you cannot see him. He is round the corner.
Right. So can I take a shot on him before he goes around the corner?
If the ranged combatants want to take a shot, you can take a shot, but there's no aim. So it'd just be a standard shot as you're trying to quickly get him.
Does that still count as him being short range?
Standard range, I'd probably say, because this is during his turn.
Well, how far is he away? Like 12 meters? That's well within
Yeah.
50 meters of the stead holder.
So he would have been within. Yeah, if we say you're kind of getting him as he's running round the corner to make up for why you're getting him in his action. So yeah, it'd be within your standard range.
If he's running, that's a minus 10, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, that is a good point. Something that I did forget. There is a minus 20 because he's running. He has done a...
Is it 20 because running?
Yeah. It's 20
Oh.
Yeah,
for...
because
It's...
it's minus 20 for range, but but everyone who's using melee gets plus 20 to hit him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
So there would be a minus 20 to the shots. Ezio would still hit. And Darius hits. So as he runs, you both bring up your rifles and just simultaneously, boom! Roll to hit, please. Sorry, roll damage, please, both of you.
I like how there's still one dealing one.
So I gotta place that way.
For a
Five?
start.
Is it? No.
You had
Steadholder's...
5 successes.
No, Steadholder is... Oh, you've got Mighty Shot, though, haven't you, Darius?
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's why there's a difference in the reason why you got a 1 and it's still 7, yet he got... Yeah, okay. So,
Any shot. Good investing.
you did get 5 degrees of success, so you can replace the 1 with a 5, making 11 damage. To the 60, sadly it wasn't to the head. But that is one of the legs, and as you both fire, you just hear a whimpering cry as he dies. He doesn't quite make it round the corner. Like, is basically his torso makes it round the corner, but there's just blood pooling from his body as it lays there. And that is the end of your first combat. As combat ends and you know the adrenaline starts to drop and you start looking around, you do notice that a few people did take notice of you.
I start checking the bodies for anything useful, anything that can be looted, and any potential signals of a bigger body.
Okay.
I'm keeping my rifle out.
So, you get 4 knives. You get 2 mercy killers and 1 ripper gun.
Does anyone need a solid projectile weapon or pistol?
If people don't mind, Liliana will be taking one of the knives.
Oh,
So, 3 knives.
Hang on, I'm going to post it in chat.
Can I heal myself?
Yes, you can. You can begin performing first aid on yourself. Also,
Hector.
just in case,
Assist
Jazina, you may not have been around when I mentioned it. All medical kits have 20 uses. After 20 uses, you have used up all of the medical resources in that kit.
But I can replenish them, right?
You can replenish them. It is half the cost of the standard kit.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it on Hector's gear list, and I'm just gonna keep track there.
Sure.
And Hector gives me plus 20 to that. I believe, actually, I'm gonna double check that. Because I would hate to screw that up. Gear.
So, you do find 12 stub rounds on the bodies. The ammo is out of the weapons. I've calculated the ammo with those, so 6 of them came from the Ripper clip, the Ripper gun. Well, yeah, Ripper clip. Their clothing is just plain clothing. There wasn't any armor there.
Do you guys mind if I take the Ripper Clip?
no,
Sure.
go ahead.
Alright, I'll take that and I'll grab 3 rounds to make up for the stuff I just spent, I suppose.
I don't think stub rounds are for the steadfast. So the
I-
rounds
I'll
are
be back.
the rounds are in pistol and so basically pistol and
Oh,
standard.
yes, pistol stub, yeah.
Yeah, but the game doesn't really do it justice in the ammo, so I'm just going to keep it as basic and pistol. So if you get it from
That's
a basic gun, it will fit in all basic guns, unless the weapon specifically states that it fires a specialist round.
Alright. Okay then. Add the Ripper Clip. How is on the list? Ripper Clip, auto pistol, Vogue.
Is anyone else injured?
Is it an auto pistol or is it a stub pistol?
It is I think it's actually an auto pistol in the description for it, but it's the cheapest and kind of worst. I'll double check.
Yeah, no, stub's a higher caliber. It's 45 up, while auto is 9mm.
Is that in the ammo list though? Because when you look at the
Yeah, I believe so. Let me see.
because I believe when I looked at ammo before, it only has 2 variants for each type. So Las is standard pack and pistol pack. Ammo is standard rounds and pistol rounds.
Yeah. Shot is for auto guns, bullets. It just has bullets. Auto guns, auto pistols, handguns, heavy stubbers, hunting rifles, stub automatic, and stub revolvers. Page 143 of the core book.
It's known as a zip gun or a chopper, which is kind of worrying. Oh, it is an auto pistol.
Okay.
It is an auto pistol. This bulky auto pistol primarily designed as cheaply as possible.
Oh, so wait, is it the Volg or is it the
Yeah, the Volg Ripper clip.
Yeah.
Auto pistol.
Okay. Okay. 15 meters. Jesus.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit. You can't even aim with it. It fires six shots, and that's it. It doesn't have a.
Here,
It doesn't have a semi or a.
I can fire it for free after I move. I don't care.
True. Free move, unleash. So,
1d10 plus 2.
how's
plus-
everyone doing for time?
I would kind of have to go.
Okay, I'll tell you what. As you begin fixing each other up, looting the corpses, you take note that people have noticed your actions down here, but no one's moving in to check. They're all just taking interest. You'd also note that there are some scavengers who are now gathering at the edge of your, of what is safe distance, and they appear to be eyeing up the clothing and other parts. But for now, the camera zooms out as our group of Inquisitorial acolytes have survived their first combat. There were a few bum-twitching moments there for me, where I genuinely thought I may have killed someone in the second episode. So, I hope you've enjoyed this episode and are looking forward to the future ones to come, as well as on Thursday, when more Warhammer Fantasy can be played. So, take care everyone, and as always, the God Emperor protects.
Bye.